All right, Ashley Stroline here alongside WCNC Charlotte Sports Director Nick Carboni. Not a great game from the Carolina Panthers today. They suffer a 33-10 loss to the Miami Dolphins. Nick, I would ask you what went wrong in this one, but it was pretty much everything for the Carolina Panthers. Their chances of making the postseason now down to 8%. What are your takeaways from this team and that performance today?
My main takeaway is how disappointing the last 2 weeks have been. You get a Washington team and then a Miami team, two on paper inferior opponents to a very talented Carolina team, and then they make the big move for Cam Newton that should propel them to the playoffs, and they lay an egg in consecutive weeks. Against Washington, it was the defense's worst performance of the year. Against Miami, it was a total team letdown, failure in all three phases. And what's really concerning going forward, Stro, and we'll get to this, is that this team is getting worse as the season goes on and as year two of this supposed rebuild goes on as well. And by the way, with Cam Newton, great job in the first game. The first start against Washington, he looked good. This game, he did not. Is this honeymoon between Cam and Carolina over?
Absolutely. It is over. And I think Cam pretty much told us that post-game, right? He said, look, this was a great storyline, but that's not what this is about. It's about coming out here and performing and getting wins with the Carolina Panthers. Today, 2 interceptions, the worst QB rating of his career at 5.8. So a lot to work on during that offseason. Cam, I'm going to guess he's going to stay here in Carolina and study that playbook. Of course, he did come in just a few weeks ago. A lot to learn for him coming in to run that offense, but you got to have so much more than what we saw on Sunday against the Dolphins.
Absolutely.
And you know what else we got to talk about? It's the coaching staff. We were talking post-game, Nick. You said, I have to feel like head coach Matt Rhule's seat's getting a little bit warmer with the last 2 weeks and those 2 losses. So how do you feel like he's feeling right now? And David Tepper giving him that 7-year contract, Rhule in year 2 of that. Maybe he's got a little more time, but we need production.
Yeah, we got time before the stove totally heats up, Stro, but I think it went from low on that dial to medium heat. And just as I alluded to in my first answer, this is the time in the NFL when you want your team beginning to play its best football. This is the time for a supposed program builder like Matt Rhule, who did it at Temple, who did it at Baylor, who wants to do it in Carolina, to have his team, which, by the way, has a lot of talent on it, getting better as the year goes along. Nobody expected a run of the NFC Championship, but I think playoffs was clearly a goal at the beginning of the season. It was clearly a goal when they went and got Cam Newton. They are just trending in the wrong direction here late in year 2. And there's a few things that are indicative of, I would say, messy coaching right now. They lead the NFL in penalties, and they're getting out-schemed, especially when you look at other teams' rushing attacks. Washington and Miami aren't exactly the keep pounding Panthers with their run games, and they have gashed the Carolina defense in that aspect the last 2 weeks. So to me, that's on coaching right now, and we'll see. I think his seat's getting a little warm.
Yeah, well, the Panthers heading into a bye week, and something we're going to be watching, Christian McCaffrey suffering an ankle injury in the game against Miami. He left the game in a boot when they were heading back to Carolina. So he's going to use that bye week to hopefully get healthy, but not good news for the Panthers.
Yeah, and his absence was felt for sure. I mean, this is a Carolina team that, again, could not establish the run. I know they were playing from behind in a lot of this game in Miami, but you would have liked to see them hit the ground a little more. And Christian McCaffrey's got a lot of abilities, but availability certainly is not one of them. He was not available to this football team throughout the majority of the second half. And I think that hurt them when they were trying to pick up third downs and trying to get something going on offense with that run game. They just couldn't go to it.
Absolutely. All right, Panthers on the bye week. They're going to hopefully get their mental right, their physical right, and then they'll come back and host the Atlanta Falcons, and we'll see if they can get back in the win column.
5 games to go, running out of time.
Yeah.